So I want to take you back to 2013. We're in Upper Egypt, in a small village in the Assiut governorate.
Hmm.
And if you know anything about these villages, you know that. Well, privacy isn't really a thing.
Right. It's a place where silence is actually louder than noise. People know each other's routines.
Exactly. They know your whole rhythm. And Hajj Mohammed Tawfiq Sadiq, he was a prominent figure, a wealthy merchant, very well
The
respected.
kind of man who was like clockwork.
Totally. Greeted everyone every morning, but then the greeting stopped. Day 1 passes, day 2.
By day 5, people are not just curious anymore, they're worried, agitated.
But it wasn't the silence that finally made them pick up the phone.
Yo, it was the smell. The smell starts to, seep out from under the door. And in that kind of heat, 5 days. You know what that means.
Yeah, so families called, police arrive, and they're all standing in this hallway right outside the apartment.
And this is where the mystery really starts, before they even open the door.
Because it's locked. And we're not just talking about a simple wooden door. There's a heavy steel gate in front of it.
Super common for security in Egypt.
Right, and when the police check it out, there's not a scratch on the lock. No sign of forced entry at all.
None. The gate wasn't broken. The door wasn't kicked in.
Which means one of two things, right?
Either the killer had a key, or they were welcomed in.
It just shrinks the entire list of suspects down to almost nothing.
You immediately pivot from, a random burglary gone wrong to a deep personal betrayal.
So they finally have to break the door down. And the scene inside is confusing.
It's not the chaos you'd expect. It's strangely orderly for such a violent crime.
We have Hajj Mohammed in the living room,
Yeah.
on the sofa. It's gruesome because of the time that's passed. But he looks like he was just resting. His throat was slit, but there are no defensive wounds.
He didn't fight back. He either didn't see it coming or just couldn't.
Then you go into the other room,
Yeah.
and you find his wife.
And that's a completely different story.
Night and day. She's on the floor. She's been stabbed, heart and neck.
And unlike her husband, the area around her shows clear signs of a struggle. She was fighting for her life, her jewelry. It was literally ripped from her ears, from her hands.
See, that part screams robbery. But when investigators looked closer, the whole robbery theory got complicated.
It was too neat, too specific. A typical burglar panics. They just ransack the place, dump everything on the floor.
Right.
Here, the wardrobe was opened, and very specific things were gone. The gold, yes, the cash from its hiding spot. But they also took the jewelry receipts.
The receipts. Why would you take the receipts?
That's what's so chilling. I mean, if you try to sell stolen gold at a jeweler in Egypt, they're going to ask for proof of ownership.
The receipt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking the paperwork means this wasn't just a theft, it was a liquidation plan. This person planned to walk into a shop and sell it like it was their own.
So, okay. A locked door. A targeted theft by someone who knows the house. The police have to be looking at the inner circle.
Absolutely. But by all accounts, this couple was beloved. They didn't have enemies. They were just the kind, elderly couple everyone knew.
So where does the break come from?
It comes from the coffee table, from 2 little cups of tea.
Teacups.
Forensic science finds 2 cups near the bodies, one by the husband, one by the wife.
Standard hospitality. Someone came over for a visit.
Right. But it's the contents, or the lack thereof, that tell the story. The husband's cup was completely empty, bone dry.
Right.
The wife's cup was only half full.
So what? Maybe he was just thirstier than she was? Does it matter?
Oh, it matters. It matters a lot because the lab report comes back and they find a massive dose of a powerful sedative in the tea.
Oh, wow.
A sleeping agent.
Okay. That changes everything. This wasn't just an attack. It was an ambush.
It's a Trojan horse, right? The killer didn't just show up with a knife. They came with a sedative. They sat down with this couple.
They probably watched them pour the tea.
Or poured it themselves. And then they just waited.
Yeah.
Made small talk while knowing that with every single sip, Hajj Mohammed was becoming helpless.
That's a different level of cold. You have to look someone in the eye while you're poisoning them.
And it perfectly explains the 2 different crime scenes. Hajj Mohammed drank the whole dose. He would have been deeply unconscious.
Which is why he couldn't fight back.
Exactly. But his wife, she only drank half.
So she was drowsy, but still awake.
Sedated, sluggish, but aware. Awake enough to know something was wrong. Awake enough to feel it. But too weak to stop it. She was a witness to her own murder.
So now the police know for sure. They're looking for a guest, someone trusted.
Mm-hmm.
They go back to the neighbors. Who did you see visiting? And this time, they get a hit.
A witness comes forward and says they saw the wife's nephew going into the building right around the time the murders must have happened.
And there it is. Family member had access. Witness puts him at the scene.
You'd think it's case closed, but this is where the investigation just hits a brick wall.
Yeah.
They bring in the nephew, and his profile is just wrong. He's a student, a good one. He has a spotless record.
The golden child.
Totally. And in the interrogation, he's calm. He's not defensive. He says, yeah, I was there. I visited my aunt and uncle, but my mom and my aunt were having some sort of argument, and I left early. I didn't want to get in the middle of it.
I mean, that sounds plausible, but he's their only real lead.
But it just doesn't fit. The detectives are looking at this polite kid and trying to imagine him slitting his own uncle's throat. The psychology is all off.
So they're stuck.
They are. They almost let him go. But, you know, good police work means you check every single box. So they run a full background check on the entire family tree, just in case.
What do they find?
They find a little detail in the public records that blows the case wide open. The good nephew.
Yeah.
He wasn't an only child.
He had a brother.
An identical twin brother.
Wait, an identical twin? How did the witness not?
They look exactly the same. The witness saw a face and assumed it was the nephew they knew. They saw the nephew because they literally share a face.
But I'm guessing they didn't share a personality.
Oh, night and day. The twin's name is Mustafa. While his brother was studying, Mustafa was an engineering student on paper, but a drug addict in reality. He was in debt, always fighting with his father for money.
And there's the motive. Addiction.
You have the motive, you have the means, you have this real-life evil twin scenario. The police pick up Mustafa, and his demeanor is totally different. He's erratic, nervous.
He confesses.
He cracks. He admits he was there. But he says he wasn't alone.
Oh, no.
He had help. He recruited 2 friends, one named Hatham, who was a sports student, the muscle, and a 17-year-old high school kid to be the lookout.
I want to walk through that night again, knowing who was really there. The betrayal is just...
It's almost impossible to comprehend. Mustafa goes up alone first.
knocks on the door.
And of course, they're happy to see him. Mustafa, come in. They make tea, and he has a sedative, and he slips it in when they aren't looking.
And it just sits there with him.
Just sits and chats, plays the part of the loving nephew, watching them drink, counting the minutes until his own family is helpless. The level of psychopathy required for that it's off the charts.
So his uncle finally passes out on the sofa.
And that's the signal. Mustafa gets up, walks downstairs, and he unlocks that big steel gate for his friend Hatham.
He opens the door for the killer.
Hatham comes up. He sees Haj Muhammad on the sofa asleep. He just walks over and slits his throat. No hesitation. It was a pure execution.
But the aunt, she's in the other room. She only had half the tea.
She hears something, a thud, footsteps. She stumbles out of the bedroom all groggy, and she sees 2 men in her living room.
A stranger over her husband and her nephew, Mustafa.
And this is the most horrific part of the whole thing. She sees her nephew and thinks, thank God Mustafa's here to help me.
Oh my God.
She screams his name, Mustafa, help! He's killing your uncle, help me! She thinks Hatham is the intruder and Mustafa is her savior.
And what does he do?
He runs towards her, not to save her. He tackles her. He puts his hand over her mouth to stop her from screaming and holds his aunt down on the floor.
He held her down.
He pinned her down while she was begging him for help so his friend could kill her. Hatham walked over and stabbed her in the heart and then the neck. She died looking at the face of the boy she trusted.
I don't even have a word for that. It's just monstrous.
It is the absolute erasure of humanity. In that moment, she wasn't his aunt. She wasn't family. She was just an obstacle between him and his next fix.
So after all that, they have to get out of there.
Yeah.
But Hatham is covered in blood.
It's a slaughterhouse. So he goes into the dead man's bedroom, opens his wardrobe, and puts on one of Haj Muhammad's own galabiyas over his bloody clothes.
Wearing the dead man's clothes to escape.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they grab the cash, the gold, the receipts, and they leave.
Where do they go?
They meet the lookout, go to his house to divide it all up. About 6,000 Egyptian pounds in cash, plus the gold. And what is the very first thing they do with that money?
They go buy drugs.
Instantly. Before they even properly wash the blood off. The mission wasn't the money. The money was just a means to an end. The mission was the high.
It just brings you back to the tragedy of the inside job. You know, Haj Muhammad bought a steel gate. He had locks. But none of it mattered.
None of it matters when the threat has your own blood and you open the door for it yourself. We're so afraid of the stranger in the dark, but security is just an illusion when you're betrayed by trust.
And the teacup is the perfect symbol of that. Hospitality. Safety. Come in. Have a drink.
Exactly. The empty cup is a forensic artifact of trust. And that half-full cup, that's the artifact of betrayal.
What happened to them? Mustafa and the others.
The Egyptian courts don't take kindly to this kind of premeditated familial murder. The evidence was crushing. They were all tried, and all three were sentenced to death.
It's just... I can't stop thinking about the parents of those twins. You raise two boys, identical DNA, same house. One becomes a good kid, the other, a monster.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. And it's so much more than nature versus nurture. I think it's about the corrosive power of addiction. It hollows you out. It takes away everything that makes you human until you can hold your own screaming aunt down while she's being murdered.
It's a heavy one to sit with. The mystery isn't really who done it. The mystery is how could they do it? How does a person switch off that part of their brain?
And that's the question forensics can never answer. We can find the poison, but we can't map the darkness in the human heart that allows it to be used.
We'll leave it there for this deep dive. A grim reminder that the real dangers are sometimes the ones we invite inside.
Stay safe.
We'll see you next time.